Hello everyone, let us learn linear programming problem. A linear programming problem in short is also denoted as LPP. Let us start by learning its definition. So, the definition of LPP is LPP deals with optimizing, maximizing or minimizing a linear function of variables called as objective function subject to a set of linear equations or inequalities which are known as constraints. It means whenever we have an LPP linear programming problem, it constitutes of two major parts. The first one is your objective function and the second one is constraints. So what do you mean by an objective function? Objective function could be anything that is the motto of our problem. That could be either maximization or it could be minimization. And then it is ruled by certain linear equations or inequalities, and we call those linear equations or inequalities as constraints. Why it is called linear? Because each and every equation, when you will see a mathematical model, each and every equation is linear in nature. So now let us see what is the most general representation of LPP. Now let us see, the general form can be expressed like this, where this is maximization z. Z is our main objective which we have to obtain. If it is maximization, means we are going to maximize this value, and it is expressed like this: c1x1 plus c2x2 plus cnxn. And you can see there are two variables over here. The one are x1 x2 xn and another are c1 c2 cn, where c1 c2 cn are constants and x1 x2 xn are variables, the major variables on which the whole problem depends. Next, it is ruled by subject to constraints. There are few constraints which is expressed like this, and this is given by linear equation in this form. Say we have already, since we had n variables, so it is expressed like this: a11 x1 plus a12 x2 and so on and so forth till a1 and xn, where this any inequality can come, this, or even equal symbol can also appear. And right hand side involves certain constants which are known as b1, b2 and bm. So it means we can see there are m number of equations and there are n number of variables. And the last but not the least is non-negativity restriction, in which we are saying that each variable value has to be positive. It has to be greater than or maximum equals to 0. So now I can subdivide the problems into three categories. Now we can see the first part, in which maximization is there. This is our objective function, and these constraints are our constraints. These equations are our constraint. And the last one, where non-negativity greater than equals to 0 condition is there, we call it as non-negativity restriction. So these are the basic structure of an LPP. We just have a look what are the various things or symbols involved and what do we call them. Now let us discuss the symbols. So you first saw that we have initialized by maximize z is equals to c1 x1 plus c2 x2 and so on and so forth. So each and every term was involving x1 x2 xn. So what are these x1 x2 xn? x1 x2 xn are known as the decision variables, because whole problem revolves around them. So that's why the term or notation for them is decision variable. Next is if you see the objective function again, there is a constant which is multiplied by each decision variable, c1, c2, c3. So these are basically coefficient of decision variable, and we also call them as cost associated with the decision variables. Next is my right hand side, where I have b1, b2 till bm, b1, b2, bm. These denotes availability of resources. And the last symbols which are involved in this is a11, a12, a13 till a1n, and a21, a22 and so on and so forth till amn. So these aijs are representing the amount of resources, means whatever resources available in the mathematical problem, this are denoted by aij. So these are few terms which we need to remember while we are handling any kind of LPP First we have objective function, constraint, non-negativity, restriction, and then we should know what are my decision variable, what is the cost associated with decision variable, BIs, that is availability, how much resources are available with us, and what is the amount of the resources. So now I can also write this general form in a very compact way and the precise way. So let us have a look at the compact form. So this is my compact form of LPP. Now how do we write it? So I can see, just I saw that my objective function z was c1 x1, c2 x1, and so on and so forth till cn xn. So definitely it is like a summation. So what symbol I use? I write it like this: summation cj xj, j is going from 1 to n. Okay, next comes the constraints. So let us see, subject to constraint was written like this: a11, a12, a1n. So I was using the symbol aij to represent all the ai's, and then I have the same x1, x2, xn, and right hand side is represented by b1, b2 till bm. So it means there are m number of equations, and I will give a representation for the first equation. So how do I write it? I write it in this way: summation aij xj, where j is going from 1 to n, because j means number of decision variable, those were n. Initially also I use the symbol. Now there are m such equations, so that's why I is also there, and I say I is going from 1, 2 till m. So this denotes there are m number of equations in our LPP. And the last one was my non-negativity restriction, which was x1, x2 till xn greater than equals to 0. So now the compact and precise form representing that is xj greater than equals to 0, where j is going from 1 to up to n. This means there are n number of variable and there are m number of equations. So this is a precise and a small way of representing an LPP. So now let us see how we formulate a linear programming problem. So this is the example we are considering to understand the formulation of an LPP. Let us read the problem. A firm manufactures two products A and B on which the profit earned per unit are rupees 4 and rupees 3 and 4 respectively. Each product is processed on two machineries, namely M1 and M2. Then the product A requires 1 minute on machine M1, 2 minutes on machine M2, while B requires 1 minute on machine M1 and 1 minute on machine M2. So by this thing we came to know that we have four things in picture. There are two products and there are two machinery, and how much time each product is taking on each machinery is given. Next is machine M1 is available for not more than 7 or 30 minutes. Means machine M1 can maximum work for 7 or 30 minutes, not more than that, while M2 is available for 10 hours. So it means this is what your availability of resources, that how much time your resources are available to you. So M2 is available for 10 hours during any working day. Now what he is asking, find the number of units of products A and B each to be manufactured to get maximum profit. So this is our motive, that we have to find the number of units of product A and to number of units of product B. And what is my motive? Motive is to maximize my profit. So now what we'll do, we will first try to formulate this information mathematically, and then we will try to formulate the LPP. So first let us see what we have to find. We have to find the number of units. Now let us suppose that the number of units for product A be x1, and say number of units for product B x2. So let us write the information over here. The number of units manufactured for product A be x1, and number of units produced for product B is x2. Now we try to jot down each and every information which was provided to us in a table. So for convenience I have already drawn the table, so let us see the table. So table is like this. So what information we are receiving in the question, we will first formulate it. So let us see, we know there were two machines and we know there were two products. And what were my products? The first product was product A, and the second one is my product B, right? And then we have two machineries. The first one was M1 and the second one was M2, correct? And now we assume that number of units produced for product A is x1, number of units produced for x2 product B is x2. Now we jot down the information, and the last information which was provided was profit. How much profit is earned by selling each product. So now let us come to the problem again. Let us see. We saw that a firm manufactured two products A and B on which profit earned is 3 and 4. So profit earned on product A is, profit earned on product A is 3 and profit earned on product B is 4 rupees. Okay, now each product needed some time on two machinery. Product A requires 1 minute on machine 1 and 2 minutes on M2. So let us write that this information. Product A requires 1 minute on machine 1 M1 and 2 minutes on machine M2. Similarly B requires 1 minute on M1 and 1 minute on M2. So we write M1 1 over here and 1 over here. So we have already written down this information in table. Now we come to the next part. Machine M1 is available for not more than 7 or 30 minutes. So it means it is my total availability. Now we have to make a note. Since H and E, all these quantity were in minutes. 1 minute, again this is in minutes, and this is also a minute. So now since availability is 7 hour 30 minutes, so we have to convert this into minutes. So 7 hour means 7 into 60, 420 plus 30, yani overall we have 450 minutes. And similarly, let us see the second one, M2 is available for 10 hours. 10 hours means 10 hours is equals to 10 into 60, yani 600 minutes. So this is the total information which is provided in the question. So each and everything is clear to us. So now we are ready to write our required LPP. So let us see how do we write the LPP. So we already know for writing an LPP we have three major parts. First one is objective function, the second one is constraint, and the last one is non-negativity restriction. So let us write the objective function. So what is my objective? What is the question? Find the number of units produced to get maximum profit. So definitely my objective is to maximize my profit. So how do I write the objective function? So let us write maximize Z is equals to what? How many variables are there? X1 and X2, and I know for each unit of A we earn 3 rupees. So it means how much total profit would be earned out of product A? That would be 3 X1, and similarly from product B we will earn 4 X2. So that's why total profit will be 3x1 plus 4x2. So this is my objective function. Now come to the second part, that is subject to constraints. And what are the constraints? So constraints are, we will see with this rows. So we see first machine. On first machine total time available is 450 minutes, and whereas each product of machine product A uses 1 minute, each unit of product B again uses 1 minute. So 1 into x1 and 1 into x2. So it means it would be x1 plus x2 less than or equals to 450. Why I am using less than or equals to 450? Because it is given that machine M1 is available not more than 7 hour 30 minutes. So maximum we can utilize it for 450 minutes. So it means this total time x1 plus x2 is less than or equals to 450 minutes. Similarly, let us formulate my second constraint. Each product A requires 2 minutes on machine 2, and similarly each product of product B require 1 minute on machine 2. So what is the total time? It would be 2 into x1 plus 1 into x2, and what is the total available resources? That is 3600. This has to be less than or equals to this thing. So this completes my constraints part. And now, but not the least, don't forget one more condition, that is my non-negative restrictions. That will be written like this: x1 comma x2 is greater equals to 0. This is my non-negativity restriction. And why it is required? Because if you see what was x1 and x2 representing, they were representing the number of units manufactured for product A. So number of units cannot be negative in nature. So that's why this has to be greater than equals to 0. Similarly, x2 was also number of units produced for product B. So definitely it has to be non-negative condition. So this completes my formulation part, and in the next part we will learn that how we find the solutions. We are going to learn method to solve an LPP. There are two methods available to us. The first one is graphical method, which we will be learning now. So let us see one problem. This is my problem, and if you remember, this is the same problem which we have formulated earlier. So maximize z is 3x1 plus 4x2 and x1 x2 is less than equals to 450 and this. So let us call this first constraint as L1 and the second constraint as L2. So now let us proceed further. Now what we are going to do in the next step, we are first going to plot these lines L1 and L2 on the graph. So we need the points where these lines meets x-axis and y-axis. So let us see what we are doing. So I have already written line L1, and when we are trying to plot the diagram for this, we take them as equality, and similarly the second line is like this. So now let us find the points on which they cut the coordinate axis. Say this is the way x1 x2. Now first what you do, you just simply put the simplest point. Say I put x1 is equals to 0. So now if I put x1 is equals to 0 here, so it would be 0 plus x2. So value of x2 will come out to be 450. And similarly, if I put x2 is equals to 0, now x2 is 0, so x1 plus 0 is x1. Again the value turns out to be 450. So thereby I got 2 points, and similarly I do the same process for the second equation, and I will get x1 x2. Once I'll put x1 0, so out of it I'll get value as x2 of x2 is 600, and then if I put this 0, I'll get value as 300. Now I have the 2 points, and definitely I can clearly plot this on the graph. So let us now plot this on the graph. So this is my graph which I have taken, and now I can see that I have these two axes, coordinate axes. So there are two variables x1 and x2. So let us take this one, x-axis as x1 and y-axis as x2, and now let us plot the points. So we'll take 100 distance, say 100, 200, 300, and similarly on y-axis it would be . Now let us plot the two lines. So first consider the first line L1, in which the one point is 0, 450. 0, 450 will be somewhere here, and the second one is 450, 0. It will be somewhere here. Now I will join the. So now you can see I got this line as my line L1, and these are the points. With the help of this I have plotted this line, and now I have to see I can see this whole graph is divided into two parts. First is above the line and one is below the line. Now I have to see which one is a favorable part for me. So I have to again look at the equation first. What was my equation? x1 plus x2 less than or equals to 450. Now you can see the graph is plotted in divided into two parts, in which this origin is the most simplest part. So let us take any random point out of the two subparts, and then we see which point satisfies the equation of our LPP. So this was my line. It was x1 plus x2 less than or equals to 450. And now if I put the value 0 0 over here, 0 plus 0, it will be 0, less than or equals to 450. So definitely it satisfies my equation. So it means this this is the required feasible region for this L1. Okay, so this we have to note. Now let us come to the second part, in which we had our second line L2. 2x1 plus x2 is equals to 600, and these were the points. The first one was 0, 600, this one, and the second one is 300, 0. So I will now plot this line. So now I have plotted my second line. This is my line L2, and this is going from here to here. These are the 2 points. and I can see it is intersecting at this point. Okay, and now again I have to see, just forgot your line L1, and we have to see this L2. This L2 is again dividing the whole hyperplane, whole graph into two hyperplane, this part and this part, above this line and below this line. We have to again check which one is the favorable part. So we see our original equation. What was my original equation? 2x1 plus x2 less than or equals to 600. So definitely origin is the most simplest point for me, so I will put it in here, and we'll see 0 plus 0 is less than or equals to 600. Yes, this equation is again satisfied. So that's why the favorable part for L2 is again this part. So now I have to see the common region for both the line. What I saw, that this is the below part is favorable for L1, and below the line L2 is favorable part for this. And last but not the least, don't forget the non-negativity restriction. It was x1 x2 greater than or equals to 0. So individually, what is it? x1 greater equals to 0 and x2 greater equals to 0. So we'll take x1 is equals to 0, means x, this axis and this thing. So both has to be positive. It means we are working in our first quadrant only. We are working in first quadrant. So now I saw what is my favorable and the common region. So this is my common region, which I can clearly, which I'm clearly getting out of it. This is my most common region. So let us mark these points. Say this is my point A, this is my point B, and this is my point C. And this shaded area or region is known as feasible region, right? So feasible region is OABC, and I should know what are all the coordinates of ABC. So definitely coordinate of A is 300, 0, coordinate of C is 0, 450, and now we need to calculate the coordinate of B. So definitely it is the point, B is the point where these two lines are intersecting. So we need to find the point of intersection. So let us see how do we find the point of intersection. It is x1 plus x2 is equals to 450, 2x1 plus x2 is equals to 600, correct? So now we subtract the two, and I get minus x1 is equals to minus 150, and thereby x1 is 150. And now I put in either of the equation to get the value of x2. Say I use the first equation, and I get x2 as 300. So this gives my coordinate for B, 150, 300. So 150, 300. So now I have each and every information. Now I can move further to the last step of my graphical method, in which I'll be using the corner point method to reach the final solution. Corner point method. So my feasible region was this OABC. So first we write the corner points over here. So the corner points are A, O, A, B and C. Write down the coordinates as well. Origins, A coordinates is 300, 0, B coordinate 150, 300, and coordinate of C are 0, 450. Now in the last step, what we need to do, we need to find the value of Z corresponding to each point, and then we find the maximized value of Z out of the obtained value. If I put x1 as 0 and x2 is equals to 0, then value of Z turn out to be 0. Similarly for A, I get value as 900. For this, I get value as 1650, and for the last point 0, 450, I get value 1800. So now, since our problem was to maximize Z, so now we look at the maximum value out of this. So we can see the maximum value is obtained at this point, and the maximum value is 1800. So how do we write the final answer? Thus, maximum Z is 1800, means it was the actual total profit which can be earned by the manufacturer. And how many units of each product is produced? X1 is equals to 0 and X2 is equals to 450. So this is my final answer, in which the company will obtain the maximum profit. So this is the way to apply graphical method to a problem. Thank you.